Hello and welcome to the MHG podcast. As usual, life could be a little bit miserable, life could be a little bit dark, but we're here to bring you as much light and as much joy as possible. As usual, I'm Bradley, and I'm joined, actually, no, I'm not joined, right, because he is not the president, whether he likes it or not, and he can shut his fucking mouth. It's Stu. How you doing, Stu?
I was definitely doing all the better when I saw that video because that was just hilarious. Just seeing him sit there like some orange turnip getting, railed by this little kid, getting the shit kicked out of him verbally.
Yeah. He might be a Nazi, but out of the mouth of babes and all that.
Precisely. So good.
It does kind of show because, like, kids obviously, like, only repeat what they hear and stuff like that at that sort of age, and they pick up. So either he's heard it somewhere or that's what his dad's been saying to Trump.
I know. Either one. One's better than the other, but yeah, it's just hilarious.
Yeah. It's also very disturbing that it's kind of like there is definitely going to be some kind of we're heading to World War III, aren't we?
Well, I really hope not. But I mean, he's being so dumb at the moment that you can't help but worry about it.
Yeah, he's trying to take over Canada in the ways that, Germany tried to take over Poland. It's kind of like, sorry, Nazi Germany. Let's not like conflate Germany and the German people with Hitler and stuff, and let's not conflate a lot of the American people with Trump and Musk. But they're trying to take over Canada, their neighbours, like Nazi Germany tried to take over Poland and stuff, and it's kind of like history's repeating itself quite a lot.
Well, the thing with the Canada thing, I'm just hoping that it's just him and his dumb show, and that they'll dial that back, because there's not anything. I don't think there's anything about that in Project 2025. I think it's mainly him trying to appease all of his party backers, and I think it's just stupid and it'll be back down. But that's me being optimistic. So who knows?
Yeah, because they're also trying to make a play for Gaza, aren't they, as well? And
yeah,
like, Jesus Christ.
I know, such idiocy. But these people have never been clever, have they?
Oh, and it's kind of like, if you do believe in sort of like we are living in a simulation, it's someone's really confused or got the bugs going where you've managed to, they're playing Civ. It's definitely some kind of weird Civ second playthrough thing going on where they've gone, what if the Nazis teamed up with the Jewish state to take over another state? I wonder.
I know.
Because that's kind of like, it's, if you did want to mess around and mod Civ a bit, then that's kind of what you'd do, maybe. I don't know. Mixed dictators, and I don't know. Are we all just living? He's like the Matrix one. Are we just living in like Sid Meier's simulation? Is that what it actually is? We are actually all in a Sid Meier simulation going on.
We could be. Well, I think the obvious, well, not obvious, but I think one of the explanations is that like all these things happen, and we make, we make films about the war, we make content media about the war, all these events in history, we make games about them. And then because we've got all of those examples, when something comes along that looks like that, we're like, but we've already lived this out in a game. So is this real? And it kind of like throws your thought processes off. It's like, how could anybody be doing this when we already know it's happened, to the point where we've satirized it, we've made video games about it, and yet you're still doing it? I think there's that.
What the Matrix film was about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Obviously, but
yeah.
Because obviously Lana Wachowski done it as just to throw shade at Warner Brothers for making her do the film. So, Anyway.
It was very clever. It wasn't very exciting or fun.
I think it was. I think she honestly take the film on purpose in a kind of meta commentary on what the film was meant to be and why they wanted to make it and everything. Because obviously, ow.
I know.
Obviously, the first Matrix film was actually a allegory for like being trans and transformation and everything, and it was their way of doing all that. And so like it was kind of like Warner Brothers didn't quite get what the film was about, and then this is a meta commentary on throwing shade at Warner Brothers and corporations and everything for not understanding. I don't know. Do you know what has nothing to do with Sid Meier?
What's that?
Video games, apparently, because that's
Wow.
real life Myers now, and video games are real life.
Yeah, true.
Do.
It's funny. It's a funny old simulated world.
Yes. Can you ask the question so we can sort of move on with reality?
We certainly can, yeah. So you know what else is asking questions? Me. And the question is, what have you been playing?
Well, I've been playing, ironically enough, not The Matrix, obviously, because that's an old game. I liked it, End of The Matrix. But anyway, I've been playing Ambulance Life, a Paramedic Simulator, because why not? Why not? It's one of those that's been on my list for a while. Just wanted to keep an eye out on it, and it came out this past week. Last week it came out, and it's a fully released title, which surprises me a little bit, because oh boy, it doesn't feel finished. Essentially, if you've played any of these simulator games, whether it's like Train Sim or Firefighter Simulator, Power Wash Simulator, any of them, it's basically taking real world jobs and making them into video games. Some are better than others. Some try and be ultra realistic. Some try and be a bit more fun with it. This is going for the more realistic side of things. So you play a paramedic, ambulance driver in, I think it's a fictionalized American city. I don't know enough about American cities to know whether it's a real one or not. But it's definitely Americanized. So you're playing like an American paramedic rather than like UK or something like that. I think anyway, don't hold me to that. I could be completely wrong. But you play a paramedic, and you basically go round, you find emergencies. Well, you get called to emergency. You're not just driving around looking for emergencies going, oh, that'll do. And yeah, you get called to an emergency. You've got to get there in a time limit. You've got to go and diagnose the situation, and then take them back to the hospital, sometimes doing treatment on the road and so on and so forth. From literally as simple as someone's having a panic attack to there's been a road traffic accident and people are dying, heart attacks, all kinds of things going on. Any kind of medical thing you can think of is going on. And you basically get scored on your performance. And the concept, I like the concept. I honestly like the concept. I think it's a great way to understand these simulation games of what a real job entails, and it does a really decent job there of kind right trying to actually work out what someone's doing just by what they're saying or what you can find on them is quite a big part. It's not just black and white of this person says, oh, I'm hot and having sweats. You go, well, what does that mean? Why are you having the sweats? You've got to kind of work that out. Or if someone's covered in blood, what does that mean? They could be going, I've tripped and fallen, but it could turn out they've been shot or stabbed or something like that. You've got to find out what's causing it, and then you've got to treat. So if someone's unresponsive, what is that? Are they actually dead? Are they just unconscious? Have they fainted? Whatever. And you've got to get them into the ambulance and start diagnosing them. And you could immediately need to start doing CPR. You could need to use the, what's the thing called? Little paddle fins they called to bring people back to life. What are they called?
What are they called? Defibrillators. I can get it eventually.
You've got to open airways and all things like that. And it's all like it teaches you how to do all that, and it's all done. And the overall concept I really like, and the execution's all right. The problem is with the game, it runs like an absolute dog. And I have been playing this on Steam Deck. So I first thought, you know what? Maybe it's a Steam Deck issue because it is unsupported. However, I've done a little bit of research because I do some research now and again, and I've looked at what other people have said as well, and it's just runs poorly. But with a lot of people said it's rough. Even on decent PCs, and there's loads of bugs which I've got, and yeah, it's kind of little things like the button prompts don't work where they're meant to. You're trying to do stuff, the UI is not the best for navigating, and the worst one is you're an ambulance with blaring lights, and the traffic AI is awful. It either just doesn't move or it actively gets in your way. So you might be going through some lights and traffic stopped, and generally, like, it's a case of either you stay there and you've got to move around, obviously, because you're told, or if you can create a lane. Well, this does neither or does both, and just like every time you're going out, it's like the traffic's in the way completely. Now, I don't mind if it's maybe once and now and again you come up against an idiot who doesn't know what to do, because that would be something that happens in real life. But the traffic is just like it's driven by absolute morons all over the city, and there's too much of it. There's just like way too much traffic to have to navigate that it stops. You're like, oh, I don't want to. And that shouldn't be your case. You shouldn't be as a paramedic, even if as playing as a paramedic going, I don't want to. Can I just stay at home, let the person die?
Yeah.
And yeah, and some of the things there, it's kind of like some of the treatments you're expecting to do goes over the top, and there's a good game in there. It's just so broken, and that's unfortunate because I've liked some of these. There's some of these like Police Contraband I really like. That was a fairly decent one of those where it was like border patrol type thing, and that was fun for what it was. And the farming ones are great. The firefighting one, again, flawed, but it was good to play. This one's a chore at the moment. I'm hoping they fix it because there's something there that I want to like. It's just not. It's definitely not there. And it's not even early access. It's a full release game, which is a crying shame, really.
It is, because if you hit that launch with a really poor product, or at least poorly performing product with a lot of bugs, you can be dead in the water unless you got a lot of money behind you to help shift the focus. But yeah, that's a bad start for them.
Yeah, and if you are dead in the water, the traffic's so bad in this, the paramedics aren't coming to help. Out of 10.
So out of 10, yeah. Drowned out of 10. Dead in the water.
Yes,
yeah.
Indeed. So, can you get the little defibrillators going and maybe breathe some life into this podcast to give us a decent game, Stu?
I certainly try. I've been playing something that is probably the mirror opposite of that. But, death is involved, as it very frequently is in video games. I've been playing a game called Jitsu Squad, which is a scrolling beat-em-up, and that's about it. It's a scrolling beat-em-up. And that's the joy of these things. They're arcade games. You don't have to do great big long intros or descriptions to them. So the difference with this one is it's very cartoonish. It looks like a Saturday morning cartoon from the 80s potentially, but with a lot more detail than that, because let's face it, they were pretty naff. And you go along and you hit things, and it's like all of the other scrolling beat-em which you play in that regard. It's different because it's got a couple of things that really work in its favor. So first off, there are a lot of enemies on screen, which is good fun. You have to be careful with that. You have to make sure you're balanced, that you've got the balance right, that you don't overwhelm people or make it a complete melee and make it just like visual soup where you've got no idea what's going on. They've done that really well, I think, partly because the drawings and the animation of the characters are really distinct. There's good separation between them and the backgrounds. It reads really nicely. It's very well presented. The artwork is lovely too. I looked at it, I thought, it's a bit wacky. I'm not sure if I'm going to take to the visuals, but they actually work really well. They're a bit silly, a bit stupid, but in a positive way. it's just got this emphasis on being light-hearted, fun, kiddie, and yeah, totally works. And in terms of the gameplay, it backs it up and does it nicely because it's got a couple of good things. It's got a parry button, which is always nice. It's got quite a large window, or at least it is on the difficulty I'm playing, which is a bit easy for me, actually. I'm probably going to bump it up. But yeah, it's got a parry, so you can parry the attacks and do a counter attack. It's got plenty of moves in the move set. It's got lots of, the direction that you're holding plus attack will vary it. There aren't too many buttons to freak out about. There's a dash and there's the parry and there's a couple of attacks and there's a special button, which is absolutely fine to manage, and it doesn't get in the way of having a lot of fun. And it's got a nice thing where if you do a delay on the button press, you do different types of attack and different powers of attack. So a bit like Tekken, where there's that, like, it shows you in the instructions like press Y or X, and then it's got like an asterisk, and that means leave it for half a second and then press the next button. It's got that. So overall, it's this really excellent package, and it's a few years old now. It's about 3 years old, but I'd never heard of it, never come across it before. And I got it for 85p in the Steam sale. So as we're talking now on 13th of February, it's only probably $1 in the US. It's 85p in the UK, probably around €1. So if you fancy it, check it out. It's an excellent beat 'em up and great fun.
And it's about the price of a Mars bar.
Yeah, better for you.
Yeah. Unless you're diabetic and you need it to bring your blood sugars up, in which case don't play Jitsu Squad, eat a Mars bar.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, do that. Don't die for Jitsu Squad.
No. Because again, ambulance life won't save you.
Oh, yeah, see, tied in nicely.
Nice. It sounds really good, actually. I might pick it up. 85p, it's a no-brainer. I've got like couple of quid in credit at the moment as well, so it's a freebie as technically, so I might pick that one up.
Yeah, it's very recommended. It's great.
Excellent. Well, continuing the theme a little bit of what I've been playing, rather than, this is nothing to do with Jitsu Squad, more 4-player co-op beat 'em ups, scrolling beat 'em ups or anything like that. I've been playing a game that asked the philosophical question: what would happen if you walked in on your mummy and daddy as a train and a bus getting it on?
Okay, not a question I've asked before, but go on.
You did. You asked me it earlier. Weird.
That's strange. Oh no, I asked you about a boat and an airplane getting it together. That's where you're confused.
That's just strange. Yeah. But anyway, they have a baby tram, and yeah, I don't even know. I'm losing it. But anyway, I've also been playing City Transport Simulator Tram. It's basically, it's train simulator, it's the bus simulators, but instead of that, it's trams. And like most of these, it's set somewhere in Germany, because a lot of these are based around European cities for whatever reason. And I've been playing this one because I really enjoy these simulator games. I'm not fascinated by trams, but I think the idea of getting the inner workings of these things is always fascinating to me and sort of adds to your knowledge. And you never know when you could be in an airplane situation and the driver has a problem, Otto's not working, and you might need to drive the tram. Okay, you don't know when it happened, and I know how to do this now. So it's all good. But yeah, basically you take on the role of a tram driver. You get given routes you've got to drive to, timetables, and you drive them, just pretty much like train sim. And it's fully interactive, like cockpits and stuff like that, with all the buttons that you can press, and you can, apparently fully modelled on real life tram systems across Europe. And yeah, it's really fun. And there's like a career mode that you can go through. There's a sandbox mode. You can just drive the trams. You can create your own routes in it and things like that. and then generally kind of manage your own tram business. It is what you've essentially got to do. For me, as a casual player, really fun. Just jumping in, spending 20 minutes, half hour, an hour, driving a tram route. That's all. I'm happy just doing that. And for others, if you want to go deeper, there is so much more there should you want to go deep. I could not tell you whether this has amazing physics and whether it's realistic compared to the real things. And again, I've done a bit of research and found that, yeah, there's some people have said, yeah, it's spot on. There's someone who said, I drive trams in real life and this is very accurate to what it's like and everything. So I'll take that as that's real. Someone actually not decided just to write a fairly sensible review for laughs, because that just seems a weird thing to do, a sensible review for laughs, because that just doesn't work. They said it's pretty good with that. Others have turned around who are really into these and said there's not enough substance to it, blah, blah, blah. And I suppose if you're really into your tram simulation business managers, or it's what you do as a career, you might find things that maybe don't add up. If you're just someone who goes, do you know what? I fancy a bit of a simulation job. I've flown a plane this week. I've driven a bus. I've been a taxi. I've gone crazy in my taxi. All right. I've done some parcel delivery. Yeah. I've done some parcel deliveries. I've driven a train. Rode a train, driven a train. You drive a train, don't you? Or whatever.
I do,
drive a train, yeah.
Yeah.
You drive many trains. I've done the underground route, Bakerloo many times over. I fancy going out on a tram. Okay, it's there. I love that these exist. I love they're pretty decent. I love that there's dedicated communities and people that want to make these things. It's definitely not one where I go, oh yeah, it's a great starting off point. Go out and get it. I still think if you ever want these, I think Trade Sim World's the way to go, because it's got so much out there. You probably already own DLC for it without even knowing there's so much of it, and they've given it away on so many occasions in bundles and stuff like that. Or even Flight Sim, I think you get on Game Pass now and it's in the cloud, both like literally and figuratively as well. This one, it's 20 quid, I think it costs for the base package. Yeah, 20 quid, and that gets you, a few standard routes, a couple of standard trams and stuff like that. There's loads of additionals you could add to it if you're really interested in it. It's like all of these. It's if you're just casual, jumping on the base, if you really fancy it, if you're really into it and you really enjoy it, you can then start picking up the DLC down the line. But yeah, for me, not quite as good as Train Sim or anything like that, but definitely better than Ambulance Life. I don't mean to be mean about Ambulance Life, but that really needs some work. But this doesn't. This is actually feels like as a game, it's there, and it's something you can pick up and enjoy straight away.
Right. Do you know what? Talking about doing that sensible review, that has kind of inspired me to do a spoof one. Just like make everything up. Go like, oh, this is such. The simulation of the real thing is so accurate here. It's exactly like the Schwarzwald route in Hielerstrasse. The 18 gauge wheels are exactly the right size, and the Qmon pump works exactly as you'd expect it. Just like totally make it all up and make out as if that's the real thing. And also,
I drive trams in Manchester, right? And look, the only problem is I can't see a couple of drunk mates having sex on the back of the tram. What's going on?
Yeah, there is that as well. Yeah.
I do want to cover, because there is a bit of a driving theme with this one. It is good, pick it up, but it's not for everyone. But I enjoyed it. That's the important thing we all need. But I've got another one I do want to put in, because this, otherwise I need one that I go, this is the game for this week for me, because it has been a bit of an up and down week in terms of games I've played, and this one has came out last week as well, and it's a driving-based game. But this is a 2D indie road trip roguelike. Yeah, I'd say roguelike, even though you've got to go a long way before you get back to starting again. And it's called Keep Driving. And it's been accurately described as the world's first car PG, which I really like. So, yeah, it's a really good game where basically it's 2D pixel art, and you're in this car that's just basically travelling across a country for a destination. You start the game and it goes, are you this person or this person? What's your relationship with your parents? Why are you travelling? What are you taking? So it'll be like, you've got like a 1 to 10 scale, I think it is, for your relationship with your parents. If you've got a really poor relationship, you decide to say like a 1, it makes the game more difficult in ways, and I'll come to that very briefly as to what that is. 10, really great relationship. Where you're going, you might be going to a festival. And that'll tell you, right, this is the things you need to do to get to the festival, but what are you taking? And these are the supplies you take, which might help you along the way. You start traveling and you've got these different gauges you've got to manage. One is your own energy, one is your car condition, one's your gas, and one is money. And as you go along, this is where it's really cool. So you're driving along and then you come across these different things on your journey. So it could be you pick up a hitchhiker, or you get stuck in traffic, or you come across roadkill or an abandoned car, or loads of different things. Anyway, so many different options. And this is what your battles are in the game. So it's not like traditional fights. So you're going along and you might come across a traffic jam, and it'll come up and go, traffic jam's going to cause you to lose energy, it's going to cost you fuel, and do some damage to your car condition. And they come up on the bottom of the screen, and you've got these skill cards you can use to play against these attacks, so to speak, to get rid of them. And if you get rid of them, you move on. And once you've got rid of them all, you move on. And different skill cards you get and you unlock could have different effects against them. So you'll get a card that might say, like, this will get rid of energy. A card that might go, this will get rid of 2 of anything. Another one will go, this will get rid of energy and a money situation, but it needs something in between. And if you get a perfect hit, you get another go, and you get to put another card down and clear it quicker. And then as you go, you get different stops and things, and you can sort of like pick up supplies, upgrade your car, fix your car, do jobs to earn more money. You can pick up hitchhikers. If you pick up a hitchhiker, they have skills which could be upgraded. And you've got to do things like, if your energy drops, you can drink coffee and stuff like that, that you've put in the car to help build up your energy. But if you leave it for too long in your car, it goes cold and it doesn't have the effect anymore. If you decide to sort of bring your energy and your food intake up to stop you starving using snacks and fast food, you get addicted to sugar and things like that. You get sort of like tempted to like drink and drive because someone kind of eggs you into it, but there's repercussions for doing that. But what the game does really, really well, and this is really good, it's reactive to how you play. So if you think you've got a perfect setup where you're going, I've got 4 of these like skill cards for battles which will get rid of anything, the game will suddenly go, these are now limited use. You've been using these all the time, so we're going to throw this spanner in the works. So now you've got to go and find other cards or upgrade other cards, or do something to bring your energy up, rest to unlock them again. And because you've got a time limit of like 4 weeks to get across the country to your destination while doing all these other bits, you're constantly focusing on do this, make sure you don't overdo this. You need to stop, but you can't stop for too long. You need to buy this, but you need to get your fuel. So you've got to balance what you use your money for. Have you got time to do jobs and things like that? Now, the difficulty slider, and this is genius, is your relationship with your parents. If you decide you've got a really good relationship with your parents and you break down, you run out of money and stuff like that, they will pay to get your car fixed, or they'll send you money and help you get back on your way. If you've got a really poor relationship, for example, they won't bother at all. You're on your own. And then so you can then slide that up based on how much they will help you. So if you've got like the perfect relationship with your parents, they'll basically help you all the way. So you could like keep calling them, going, "Oh, I've broke down, I've run out of money, I need more money," and they will go, "Well, okay, we'll send you some money," and off you go again. Right the way down to, "Screw you, you're the worst son we've ever had, or the worst daughter we've ever had." And it's not a game where you pick it up immediately, you go, "Oh, I get this." It takes some work to get it in a good way. You're on a trip of discovery playing the game whilst the character you're with is on a journey of discovery. And I played one moment, and this was really cool, where I was someone who was interested in, like, I wanted to work and stuff like that. And one of the philosophical things came up where you got to answer questions about yourself. And it came up and went, "Would you not be better off just going back home and getting a steady job?" And it was just kind of like, wow, yeah, because my character kept taking on loads of small jobs. So it was like, it came up and went, "Oh, should you not just go home and get a small job?" It was like get a steady job. And I was like, wow, that's just really, in the way it adapts to what you're doing and how you answer things and do things. It's really, really clever. It looks gorgeous too. It's got some heart to it. And it's outstanding. I'm absolutely enamored by this one.
Oh yeah, that sounds quite unique. Yeah, that's very clever. I love when there's a little bit of innovation going on. Doesn't happen often enough. So that sounds excellent.
When you think you've played everything you can play RPG wise and stuff like that, or roguelike wise, and then something comes along, it's just like, wow, that is, someone's taken all these concepts and made it work. There is some issues with it. Couple of little bugs I've had now and again. He's now in 1.0, and I started playing this before it hit full release, and it hasn't got controller support at the moment, despite being Steam Deck. Is it verified? I'm sure it was verified. No, it's not verified yet, sorry. But they are putting controller support in it. Apart from the controller support issue, it runs absolutely perfect on Steam Deck, as you'd imagine with a game that looks like this. And the bugs that were there are gradually being ironed out, and nothing game breaking. It's like minor irritants more than anything. But yeah, it's a wonderful game.
Good stuff. Yeah, nice one to end on that. Definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it from me.
And me.
So I'm going to shut my fucking mouth.
Hey, I normally say that to you, but yeah, no, it's okay. I'll let you. Yeah, so as usual, follow us on all the socials. Make sure you're checking out our content on the website. Chat to us on Discord if you feel like it, about any subject you like, including games, but not limited to them. And apart from that, as usual, stay safe and stay sane.